Welcome, everyone, to the 2020 Baccalaureate ceremony. Traditionally, baccalaureate is a gathering the day before commencement and serves as an occasion for graduating seniors and their families and friends to celebrate their journey through Bates and beyond. It's an opportunity to look back and to express gratitude for each of our unique, sometimes nonlinear paths to this, the end of our final year as Bates students. We celebrate through student offerings of dance, music, poetry, and vignettes, which are short speeches offered by usually 3 or 4 members of the graduating class, articulating specific moments or realizations they've had, which they'll carry with them beyond graduation. The ceremony seeks to turn our gratitude into blessings, and the pain or relief of leaving Bates into joy and celebration for our time together. Myself, the staff at the Multi-Faith Chaplaincy, and a wonderful, determined committee made up of members from the graduating class have been working together on putting this ceremony up for 6 months now. But, of course, the world we're graduating into has dramatically changed, and so has the format of the ceremony. The loss of our ability to gather on the quad and sit with our families and friends as dozens of students and faculty members offer their final goodbyes to this place, this bubble, where we've all undergone such growth is certainly something to mourn, and I know I have. But I've been overwhelmed in the past few months, not by just the willingness, but the excitement of my peers to pivot to an online baccalaureate ceremony. The commitment and creativity has been truly inspiring. We have 2 more original songs than we otherwise would have, which was 0, more vignette givers than ever before, and a poet who has beautifully articulated our time together. And there's so much more that you can also discover for yourself. So let's not ignore the grief of our amended, abridged end to our time as Bates students, but let's also not ignore the fact that this is a time for celebration. That being said, I'd like to offer my own vignette. I'm a work to the deadline kind of person. I don't like to get started on projects too far ahead of when they're due because I apparently hate my future self and want her to suffer. The number of times I've been in the library until the lights shut off is too many to count. The choom sound of the light switch being hit will haunt me for decades, I'm sure. I worked my way through many a 3, 4, 5, 10-page paper on the most niche liberal arts topics you can imagine and trudged through snow, sleet, rain, dark, and cold to get to a second location and continue the torturous construction of my arguments before the 8 a.m. deadline the next morning. I said to myself over and over, it'll get done because it has to get done. It'll get done because it has to get done. Through sophomore year, junior year, and even senior year, that became my motto, my inspiration, and also my excuse to call it for the night and go to some laundry-strewn room of a friend instead of finishing up. Well, I could put off my work for as long as I liked, but eventually I'd be back in the library or back in Peagill, bleary-eyed and dry-lipped because somehow I always forgot my chapstick during those late-night endeavors, typing until the thought of another therefore or conversely made me want to explode. But it got done because it had to get done. My freshman year, I was an anxious, nervous wreck. I would walk away from interactions and beat myself up for hours about what I thought was an awkward pause or a weird comment. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this, and it was exhausting. I spent so much time thinking about the version of me I wanted to present to people. Being called chill was such a huge compliment, for example, that I just couldn't think about how I wanted people to feel around me. I thought, I'll just be chill, and people will get into it. I wanted to be invited into spaces, not create them. I was in a play, first semester freshman year, with a cast and director and crew made entirely up of upperclassmen men. While rewarding work, it was exhausting to try to fit into that space which they, consciously or not, controlled. I put off speaking up, creating space for myself, and just assumed that it would all get done because it had to get done. But in many respects, it didn't. And so, after that production ended, I made it my goal to create welcoming spaces for all. And though it wasn't always easy or comfortable to create that space, it did get done. I found joy not just in being invited into an environment, but creating them for myself and others. Intentional spaces to foster connection, to get to know yourself through your interactions with others, to be goofy or ponderous, chill or high energy. One of my favorite activities has become Rosebud Thorn, where everyone in the room shares their favorite part of the day, their least favorite part of the day, and what they're looking forward to the most. No one can resist a good old game of RBT. You get to talk about yourself and learn about the people around you. By the close of this year, I left Bates with more people than I ever could have imagined, and left Bates having been in and helped create more comfortable spaces than I could have hoped. This past semester, I wrote my thesis on religious studies in the form of a play. It was about how women find and assert their voices in a world which is very picky about which women to listen to or even pay attention to. I wrote female characters who are usually in opposition with each other as friends, learning from and creating a space together. I wrote it for myself, but also for everyone who has had to try to be themselves and protect themselves at the same time. That work was not procrastinated that much. It got done because I wanted it to be done. I'm not upset with myself for feeling so awkward or uncomfortable in my early years at Bates, nor do I regret even one of the delightfully awkward interactions I had with my peers, even the one where I just walked away mid-conversation because I felt so uncomfortable. It's okay though, that person transferred. I maybe regret spending so much time putting off my work, but hey, I'm still graduating. I know that I'll take what I learned about creating space with me wherever I go. That's what Bates showed me about myself. So, my friends and my friends of friends, thank you. Thank you for showing me what ardor and devotion looks like, for unceasingly providing opportunities for meaningful connection, and for the work you've done to make Bates a more comfortable place for all. There's more work to do, but with our legacy, it'll get done because it has to get done. So, thank you, happy graduation, and congratulations to the class of 2020. I hope you enjoy exploring the baccalaureate website.